Barcelona's new generation of golden talent is all set to bring back the golden days to the club. Lamine Yamal, Gavi, Pau Cubarsí, all these guys are excellent examples of the biggest talent factory in the world, the one that keeps on producing, La Masia. Heck, it produced the greatest player in the world. And it's now producing the guy who could very well be the future of football for years to come. So the question is, what exactly is this place? What's the secret behind it? La Masia roughly translates to the word farmhouse in English, and the idea is that the place has been home to some of the best talents in the world. Originally, when Barcelona moved to the Nou Camp in 1957, it wasn't far away from La Masia. Back then, the place used to serve as a clubhouse for Barca activities, but look at the names that have come through. Lionel Messi, Puyol, Gerard Pique, Xavi, Andres Iniesta, Victor Valdés, Sergio Busquets, and even the new generation players. According to data from CIES, La Masia has produced 101 graduates currently playing in Europe's top 5 leagues. Damn. The place is supposed to be a talent house, but the truth is, guys, it's more than that. It's a hidden secret Barcelona has been keeping for years. Going back to true Barcelona origins, La Masia has always been the base. See, while their rivals Real Madrid decided to spend big and form the Galacticos, signing the best players in the world for mega fees, Barcelona, on the other hand, invested heavily into La Masia, paid off. The 2010s really showed the world what La Masia was made of. Spain's 2010 World Cup winning team had 8 Barcelona players in the starting lineup, 7 of which started their careers at La Masia. That's not even the best part. Later on in the year, Barcelona had 3 players from La Masia who made the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or that year. It's 2024, and they're repeating the same trick. Although it's safe to say if not for a couple of unfortunate circumstances, it wouldn't have happened. This one started back in 2017. After Neymar left the club for PSG, Barcelona felt it. They wanted to replace Neymar, and usually, the process would have been to find the next big talent from La Masia, but instead, it almost felt as if the club had forgotten about the academy, because over the next couple of years, it was messed up. They spent over 145 million euros for Coutinho, over 120 million euros for Antoine Griezmann, 148 million euros for Ousmane Dembele, and it lost their way. And when you realize out of these 3 highlighted transfers, none of these guys are currently at the club anymore. Bad business. In 2021, though, it all changed. The club appointed Joan Laporta as club president, and in turn, Laporta went back to the basics. His appointment saw the emergence of players like Gavi into the first team, and under the managers that have followed, Xavi and Hansi Flick, we've seen other talents like Cubarsí, Marc Bernal, Fermin Lopez, Marc Casado, a growing list. It's the present day now, and it's safe to say the core of this Barcelona team is La Masia made talent already. You can't mention Barcelona without thinking about this guy now. Lamine Yamal is the future. He's broken so many records along the way, and at the Euros, he was voted as the best outstanding young player of the competition.
The winner of the UEFA Young Player of the Tournament is Lamine Yamal from Spain. Congratulations.
Which comes as very little surprise. Lamine Yamal, the young player of the tournament, he's just a joy.
Oh, it's scary, scary. 17. He is only going to get better, which is a really scary thought. Outstanding talent.
A cuddle from the king, a prize from the president. What a beautiful spot. Career 2008, whether this is just the start.
He's special, and he's one in a young list of talent La Masia has produced already. Lamine Yamal is already showing maturity, competing with players twice his age in the game, and the kid knows it's thanks in large part to La Masia that he's playing at his current level now. From a young age at Barca, they already help you to direct your life so that you do not deviate in the future. They put psychologists on you. Lamine Yamal just exposed another secret as to how Barcelona has been getting La Masia talents to perform. Still using Lamine as an example, when the club initially scouted him playing for his boyhood side Rocafonda, it was thanks to the scouting network they had set up in the country, and after getting him to La Masia, they didn't just train him to become a better footballer, it was also to develop as a person. It's not just Lamine from the academy that's been making waves. In defense, they've got a 17-year-old gem that even Lewandowski found hard to believe. Pau Cubarsí. When he first burst onto the scene, there were questions regarding his age and whether or not he'd be able to cut it big time for Barca, and it's safe to say he more than answered those questions. Can't forget that Champions League game against Napoli. His passing was incredible. Defended like a rock and picked up the Man of the Match award in a Champions League knockout stage, still only 17. Cubarsí, just like Yamal, has also made his debut for Spain. The future is now. Speaking of the future, we've got even better videos coming up at Total Footy, and you can get the latest video releases by hitting that subscribe button down below. Okay, this season also saw the introduction of another La Masia graduate who was making waves. In Hansi Flick's new tactical setup, Mark Burnell immediately became a gem. See, Flick wants to set up his team with two players at the base who can dictate the play, and in that role, Burnell understood the task. He unfortunately tore his ACL a few weeks back and has been ruled out for the rest of the season, but Barcelona believed so much in him that only a few days later, the club extended his contract. In the game against Sevilla, yet another La Masia talent made his return to the first team. Gavi, a warrior, still only 20, Gavi is an exceptional talent. A battle horse in midfield, he unfortunately tore his ACL over a year ago while playing for Spain. But he's back now, and Hansi Flick has a full list of La Masia talents he can call on when he needs. Haven't even gotten to the bench yet. They've got players like Fermin Lopez who can change a game in the team or at left back. Alejandro Balda. You probably get the point by now, some of the best young talent in the world have their roots in La Masia. In fact, it extends beyond the talent presently at the club. Future stars like RB Leipzig's Xavi Simons and Chelsea's Marc Guiu were once part of La Masia's setup. What is it about the academy that makes it so special to the club? Remember the heavy amounts on players like Griezmann, Coutinho, and Dembele we talked about earlier? Well, yeah, it wasn't just these guys. Barcelona also made a couple of questionable signings too, and most of these signings didn't come cheap. Add this to a couple of financial management problems, and Barcelona entered an economic crisis. It became so bad that according to the Catalan newspaper Diari Era, Barcelona had loans of 1.3 billion euros to pay before 2032, and 613.5 million euros of that figure is due before 2028. With all of this in mind, signing key players was always going to be a problem. With inflation and clubs trying to recover from COVID, player prices have gone up. And to compete in the big leagues and get the big players, teams need to spend big, and Barcelona couldn't afford that at the time. The solution? Laporta came in, as we said earlier, and he went back to basics. The current Barcelona team is a mix of youth and experience, the youth from La Masia and the experience from seasoned pros like Robert Lewandowski. See guys, a lot of praise for the current development of La Masia talent has to go to Joan Laporta. It's always been his philosophy to develop the best talent in the world from the academy up to the first team, and it didn't get any better than when he and Barcelona stunned the world with it in 2009. That season, Barcelona set a record for becoming the first team to win 6 trophies in a single year, a record not Bayern Munich have managed to equal ever since. Just going through the list of La Masia talent in that team, Victor Valdés, Gerard Piqué, Puyol, Sergio Busquets, Marc Muniesa, Xavi, Andres Iniesta, Lionel Messi, Thiago Alcantara, Pedro, Bojan Krkić. Wow. They didn't just develop these players and take them into the first team, La Masia taught them the Barcelona system. The essence of passing the ball, total football from the days of Johan Cruyff. And that's why when La Masia players, both past and present, get into the first team, it's easy for them to integrate because from early on, they understand the general idea of what the club is about. A lot of critics came at the club just under 2 years ago when the current crop of first team La Masia players came in 2022-23. Barcelona won the league that season, and in that squad, they had 5 players who directly came from La Masia and featured for Barcelona in the league. Gavi, Alejandro Balda, Pablo Torre, Ansu Fati, and Eric Garcia. Goes without saying now that La Masia is an elite academy that keeps on producing world-class talent, and the scary truth about the academy is that they're the solution to Barcelona's economic crisis. Days back, Joan Laporta announced that they had rejected a bid worth 250 million euros for Lamine Yamal in the summer. A La Masia graduate worth that much. The academy is a goldmine. It's one thing to produce these days, and it's another thing to get them to perform. Under Hansi Flick so far, Barcelona's crop of youngsters have fitted in perfectly and are taking the club to the top. Quite literally too. They're at the top of the table in La Liga and they've put in a series of impressive performances along the way. Remains to be seen just how far they can go with the talent they have. Season still has a long way to go, but these guys look like the real deal. And it won't be long before we get to see another La Masia talent making waves for Barcelona again. The factory keeps producing non-stop. Is La Masia the best academy in the world? Got a better club in mind? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Total Footy too.